I'm gonna be honest, I expected this movie to be funny, but turns out it's hilarious. Now, I'm not a guy who laughs out loud a lot, especially at movies. I kinda internalize my mirth. You might get a smile if you're lucky. Most movies just sorta amuse me and don't really make me laugh, and that's fine. For me to legit laugh, you kinda gotta catch me off guard. And within, I don't know, 5 minutes of this thing, I'd already snort laughed once. I mean, the first hour or so is relentless. Virtually every line is at least amusing. Maybe one of the most tightly packed scripts I've ever seen. Pretty astonishing, to be honest. And oh yeah, it's about the power struggle after Stalin dies. A bunch of old men plotting and murdering. How do you even come up with the idea of turning that into funny? They're essentially trying to make ruthless murder and political plotting funny. How do you do that? I'm assuming they basically approached it like a TV show. Get a basic script and have a bunch of writers punch it up. Get as many jokes in as possible. And I'd say it worked. Visually though, it sort of looks like a TV show too. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I guess it's meant to feel more grounded and realistic. But when a movie is this funny, I don't really care if it's shot on VHS. It doesn't really matter. And it's just his style anyway. Oh yeah, the accents. You know how in most movies, when they're in Russia or 18th century France, the actors all have a local accent or a British one? Anyway, they keep it consistent, right? Well, in this one, everyone speaks English in their own accent. You have American, British, Russian, whatever Jason Isaacs does. Is that a Liverpool accent? But they're all supposed to be Russian. I mean, I don't think the average person even cares. Maybe doesn't even notice. I thought it was pretty funny though. And it actually makes sense for a comedy. You want people to be as natural as possible. And not being hampered by an accent is probably a good way of doing that. And by the way, everyone's great in this. You got Steve Buscemi, Jeffrey Tambor, Simon Russell Beale. Fantastic cast. You couldn't have done better. The one that felt out of place though was Olga Kurilenko's pianist character. She was pretty much the only one who wasn't consistently funny. And she can be funny, she's good. They just didn't give her anything to work with. Which was pretty odd, since basically every other character is funny in almost every scene. I'm not sure why they did that, but it was actually jarring how dry her scenes were. There was a funny one early on, but then just nothing. Kinda weird. But after the first half or so, the whole movie just kinda gradually got more serious, a bit less funny. I mean, it was still more amusing than your average comedy. It's not like it went off a cliff either. It was just a slow decline, less dense with the jokes, which was kinda disappointing. I don't know if it was intentional or if they just ran out of steam, but I would have liked it to be a little bit funnier toward the end. It got a bit too serious. But those are really my only complaints. The pianist character and the lack of jokes in the end. Overall, it's a hilarious movie. The writing is so sharp and so dense, I don't think they could have possibly done it much better. It's a fantastic movie. It's great. Go watch it. Or don't, I'm not your dad.